All right, now we'll talk about the roof, the component of a home. We're going to start at the top and work our way down. Basically, at the very top of the roof, you have a ridge board. It runs along the ridge of the roof. It is where all of the rafters, that's all the framing members or the portion of the roof that supports the roof decking, that's what they tie into. Once you come down these rafters, they're being supported by collar tie. The collar ties run horizontally, kind of supporting those ridge boards. And what those collar ties then are supported by is another framing component called a purlin brace, where it's basically a 2x4 with another 2x4 on the back, kind of laminated on there, nailed on there. It's kind of like a strong bag. It gives it rigidity, and it helps keep that supported. And those tie into the top plates of our frame. Those are the horizontal boards at the top of the framing members of the walls. Other parts of the roof system include things like the notching out of materials into what's called a bird's mouth. That's where those rafters will sometimes meet the top plate, their exterior wall top plate. You also have the ends of each one of these gables are tying outside, and they're going to be wrapped in some kind of fascia, soffit material, fascia boards. And then, generally going to be like a hardy plank material, something that's, not wood, and it requires less maintenance. It won't rot. Pests don't bother. Cement board. Other parts of the roof that we really should mention, this home has a fireplace, so you'll have a chase that's built into a component of the roof, and you'll see that when you can see the fireplace coming up out of the roof on the outside, past the shingles and all the flashing. Bringing this mostly to the remainder of the roof from the outside, components include flashing, shingles. There's an underlayment, something that they're going to put on top of that roof decking as a waterproof or a water shedding. Some builders still use kind of rolls. Some of them use a really tacky material that actually kind of self-seals once you nail that shingle to the roof decking. There are so many components to roofing now to help protect people's assets, because that's a huge thing, especially here in the Houston area. We don't get snow, but we get lots of rain, and roof maintenance is one of the main things that can save somebody thousands of dollars just by every couple of years going up on the roof and making sure things are nailed properly, sealed properly. Other components of a roof, specifically in our area, will have to do with ventilation. So you'll even see where we use these baffles, and these baffles run from, they're nailed to the roof decking, they run up into the attic. That way airflow can move from the attic out and in, which keeps, thermodynamics working. Hot air naturally rises, it goes up to that ridge. They have ridge venting on the outside of the roof, which you'll see. And that allows hot air to naturally escape the highest point of the roof. These baffles extend into the soffit material, which has holes or perforations or channels in it to allow other air to come in. So again, thermodynamics, warm air is escaping, cooler air is being sucked in, and all of that works together along with insulation in an attic and the insulation on the back of the decking to keep the air that's touching your interior ceilings to be cooler. Here's some examples of some of the components of the roof that I have here that are being added to a home. So we have the covers that go onto the furnace exhaust, or for a hot water heater. Any gas-fired appliance is going to have a metal cover like that. It goes on a double-walled metal pipe. That way nothing combustible can get burnt up in an attic. It's a safety feature. You also have these pitch kind of, it's built for an angled roof, but that way the metal pipe can come up through the roof, and then this sits on top of that double-walled metal pipe. And then you have an example of what they call a rubber boot. Again, it's set for a pitched roof, so it'll go on an angle. And those PVC pipes, again, plumbing, it's mostly for the vent stacks from the off-gassing of sewer gases from the plumbing system as they go through. And these are designed to stretch and go around the pipe. And then, again, from a roofing maintenance standpoint, these rubber boots, especially in our Texas heat, can get eaten up. So this is one of those points for water penetration that people really need to focus on maintenance over the years. Looking at the roof from the outside of the home, you'll notice that we have our fascia and soffit material made out of that hardy plank. You'll see that silver flashing above it. It's called a drip edge. That goes underneath the underlayment in the shingle. And then you have the shingles on top. And at the ridge of the roof, you'll see, and you can actually see it on a house next door here that's completed, that ridge vent. That's the venting to let the hot air out. And then these little perforated holes, that plastic H molding that's running in the hardy plank or cement board material there, that's what's letting the cooler air in that those baffles are allowing to, thermodynamics to kick in. So you have asphalt shingles, you have an underlayment, you have flashing at areas. In areas of valleys or peaks and things, you're going to have overlapping of shingles. Some builders will use metal or tape style flashing, again, depending what kind of underlayment they use. You'll also see things that come through the roof, the vent stacks. Those are generally for mechanical components, things like plumbing to allow sewer gassing to off gas, or the metal ventings there are normally for gas fired material for like a furnace or for a hot water tank or something like that, to allow that exhaust to get expelled through the roof and not into the attic. So those are the components that generally make up and comprise a roof here, residential construction here in the Houston, specifically the Katy area. In the next part, we're going to talk about plumbing.